Hey, what is up, everybody? Brian Garrett here with Loan Depot in Bend. And today I want to do things a little bit differently. I wanted to talk about what happened to the interest rates over the weekend because we did see a pretty significant jump, and so we're gonna talk about that because it could make a difference for you buyers out there. And we're not going to talk about the why it happened, but just kind of where we're at and where we came from. So first off, I just want to talk about this site that I'm on here. So this is MBS Highway, and this is where I get all my updates and market trend info. They also have a ton of really cool tools. So if you are in the mortgage industry or a real estate partner, you should definitely check it out because it is just chock full of great stuff. They also send out these awesome alert to locks. And so we're going to talk about that here real quick. But first, let's jump into this. Now, this is going to be a lot of charts and numbers and stuff, guys, but it is important to understand what's going on with the market. And so this is what's going on with the rate market right now. So we're actually going to look at the 10-year U.S. Treasury note, and the reason for that is rates are pretty closely related. So they're not tied to that specifically. It's just something that they tend to trend similarly. So they go up and down together. So we kind of watch that to keep an eye on things. So where I'm going to start is actually back here in November, just so we can get some context. Okay. So November, you'll see where my cursor is here that we started going up, and it doesn't really matter what these exact numbers are, guys. We're just looking at the trends. So late November, we're looking, here's Thanksgiving holiday weekend here, we start trending up. And as this trend goes up, interest rates go up. So the pricing for those rates is what we're talking about. Those start to go up. And so here in, like I said, November, December, it looks, pretty flat throughout December here. And then early January, we take this big jump up here, right? And so now we're at this new level, and this is where the rates were at for January. And then, as you can see, we had some changes. Came down a little bit here in late January. So the third week of January, we're looking at rates took a little dip, but then they climb back up, right? So here's where it gets interesting. So let's see, we're gonna zoom in a little bit here. All right, so here's where it gets interesting. So this little guy, these red ones here, this was last week. So we're looking at February 8th, February 9th, February 10th, and then February 11th. So the 12th here was Friday. So you can see on Thursday, we're doing fine. Friday, we get one of these alert to locks. So these alert to locks, that's when they're predicting that the interest rate pricing is going to go up, right? And so they were saying on Friday, hey, if you're not locked in, so if you're a buyer and you have a loan in process and you're not locked, if you're floating, now's a good time to lock. Okay, so that's what those alert to locks mean, and that's what they were looking at here on Friday. So then on Monday, I'm just gonna zoom in a little bit more here. So on Monday, markets were closed, right? So we had a holiday yesterday, they were closed. So today we get up and we have, look at this, at 11:16 this morning, we have another alert to lock. So the rate pricing, as you can see, if we look back here on Thursday, from Thursday to today, so just over the holiday weekend, we had a pretty significant jump. And what does that mean? So just a hypothetical situation, if I quoted you a rate on Thursday, that same rate might cost up to about $3,000 more today. In discount points. And I have other videos talking about discount points and what those are and how those work. So you can go check those out on my YouTube or my Instagram. But essentially what that means is if you wanted to stay at that same rate that you got that estimate quote for on Thursday, you would have to pay an additional $3,000 in your closing costs today. So that's why it's important to kind of be aware of when these alerts come in, when they're suggesting we lock, and to be available to your lender. If you have a loan in progress and you're floating and you want to see kind of how things play out, if that lender texts you and says, hey, now might be a good time to lock, it's a good idea to listen to them. So So that's what happened over the weekend. And like I said, I'm not going to get into the whys, but that's where we're at. So if you got a quote on Thursday, you might want to check back in with your lender because today it could be much higher to get that same rate, the cost for that. Now, just so that I don't get accused of, lying with statistics and being Mr. Doom and Gloom, let's look and see what the trends look like for the past year, okay? Because I don't want you to think that it's all scary negative stuff, right? Because historically speaking, if we zoom out here, historically speaking, here's last year, my cursor all the way to the left now, last year, end of February, we're way up here, okay? And so this whole year, we've been really low, right? We've had historic lows, record lows for rates, and now we're climbing back up to where we're almost to where we were last February, okay? But rates were still good last February. So I don't want you to get scared. I don't want you to get worried. I just want you to be aware of where we're at. And especially, if you're a buyer now and you're looking at rates and you're thinking, well, hey, my friend locked his loan, last month and got, whatever, 2.5 or hypothetical rate there. How come now my rate's, 3% or something like that? So that's why, okay? So we've seen that steady increase since November, and now we took a pretty big jump over the weekend. So thanks for tuning in and sticking with me on that, guys. I just felt like that was an important thing to discuss today because it was such a significant impact over the weekend. And so now, our rates are going to be based off this new level that we're at here today moving forward. So keep that in mind. And as you're shopping rates, just know that we're kind of in a new spot today. All right. Well, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. You can hit me up on my Facebook, my Instagram, my YouTube, or shoot me a text. So you guys take care. And once again, this was Brian with Loan Depot and Ben.